Itachi Uchiha. Itachi was forced into an impossible choice. To prevent a civil war that would have destroyed the Hidden Leaf village, he had to massacre his entire clan with his own hands. His parents, his friends, everyone he knew, and he did it. Then he chose to live as a hated criminal, a traitor, so that his younger brother Sasuke could grow up believing he was a hero. Itachi carried the weight of genocide completely alone. He was dying from illness, branded as a villain, and he never got to see his sacrifice understood or appreciated. His suffering was isolation, guilt, and being forever misunderstood. Edward Elric. Edward tried to bring his mother back from the dead using alchemy. It failed catastrophically. He lost his arm and his leg. His younger brother Alphonse lost his entire body, and Edward had to bind his soul to a suit of armor just to keep him alive. From that moment on, Edward carried crushing guilt every single day. Every time he looked at his automail limbs, every time he saw his brother's empty armor, he was reminded of his arrogance and the price he paid for it. His suffering is rooted in regret and the responsibility of caring for his brother, all while being just a child, forced to grow up far too fast. Shinji Ikari. Shinji was abandoned by his father as a child. Years later, that same father dragged him back just to pilot a giant biomechanical weapon and fight for humanity's survival. No training, no preparation, just get in the robot or everyone dies. Shinji battles constant depression, fear, and self-loathing. He doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want this responsibility, but he's trapped. Unlike physical pain, Shinji's suffering is entirely internal. It's a relentless cycle of anxiety, loneliness, and existential dread that slowly tears him apart from the inside. Okabe Rintaro. Okabe discovered time travel and it destroyed him. He watched his closest friend Mayuri die over and over again. Stabbed, shot, crushed, run over. He tried everything to save her, but every timeline led to her death. And here's the worst part. He was the only one who remembered. Every time the world reset, everyone forgot except him. He carried the trauma of watching her die dozens of times completely alone. No one else knew. The psychological torture of repeated failure and grief slowly unraveled him piece by piece. Subaru Natsuki. Subaru's suffering is brutal and unrelenting. He has the ability to return from death, which sounds like a gift until you realize what it actually means. He dies repeatedly, stabbed through the chest, gutted alive, frozen to death, eaten by monsters, and he feels all of it. Every second of pain, every moment of terror. Then he wakes up and has to do it all over again. Worse, he watches the people he loves die in countless variations. Different deaths, different timelines, and he can't tell anyone about it. There's no escape, no release, only endless repetition and trauma. Eren Yeager. Eren watched his mother get eaten alive right in front of him when he was a child. A titan tore her in half and devoured her while Eren was helpless to do anything. That single moment of trauma defined his entire life. Later, when he gained the power to see the future, he realized the only way to protect the people he loved was to become the enemy of the entire world. He had to commit genocide. He had to betray his friends. He had to sacrifice his own morality and humanity. Eren's suffering is that he became the villain, fully aware of what he was doing, because he believed it was the only way. And in the end, he lost everything anyway. Ken Kaneki. Kaneki lost his humanity in a single night. A ghoul attacked him, and in the aftermath, doctors transplanted ghoul organs into his body to save his life. He woke up as a half-ghoul, no longer fully human. He couldn't eat normal food. He craved human flesh. His entire identity shattered overnight. Then he was captured and tortured for days by a sadistic ghoul named Jason. His fingers were cut off repeatedly and allowed to regenerate just so they could be cut off again. He was psychologically broken, mentally shattered. The torture destroyed him so completely that his personality fractured. His hair turned white. He became someone else entirely just to survive. Kaneki's suffering obliterated not just his body, but his entire sense of self. Hyakimaru. Hyakimaru was born without skin, without limbs, without eyes, without ears, without a voice. His father made a deal with demons, sacrificing his own son's body in exchange for political power and prosperity. Hyakimaru grew up in a world where he couldn't see, couldn't hear, couldn't speak, couldn't feel. He had no sensation of warmth or pain. He existed in complete sensory deprivation. As he killed the demons one by one, he slowly regained parts of his body. But here's the tragedy. Every time he got something back, he experienced pain and suffering for the first time. Learning to hear meant hearing screams. Learning to feel meant feeling agony. His suffering began at birth and continued throughout his entire existence. He never knew peace. Griffith. Griffith was once untouchable, charismatic, brilliant, destined for greatness. Then everything collapsed. After a failed escape attempt, he was imprisoned and tortured for an entire year. His tendons were severed, his tongue was cut, his body was mutilated beyond recognition. When his friends finally rescued him, he couldn't walk, couldn't speak, couldn't even hold a sword. His dream of ruling a kingdom was shattered. His identity was destroyed. He realized he could never go back to who he was. That complete and utter annihilation of everything he valued drove him to the eclipse, where he sacrificed every single one of his comrades to demons just to regain power. His suffering broke him so thoroughly that he became a monster. Guts. No one in anime has suffered more than Guts. He was born from his dead mother's corpse, pulled from her body as it hung from a tree. He was raised by mercenaries who saw him as a tool. As a child, he was sold to a soldier and sexually abused. He was forced to kill before he even understood what life meant. He grew up in a world of violence with no love, no warmth, no safety. Then finally, he found something. He found friendship. He found belonging. He found love with Casca. For the first time in his life, Guts had a reason to live beyond survival. And then it was all taken away. During the eclipse, Griffith betrayed them all. Guts was forced to watch as demons slaughtered every single one of his friends. He watched them torn apart, eaten alive, destroyed, and then he watched as Griffith, now reborn as a demon, violated Casca in front of him while Guts was held down and unable to do anything. He lost his arm trying to save her, he lost his eye, and he survived. Guts continues to exist in a world that actively tries to break him every single day. Demons hunt him relentlessly. Casca's mind was shattered and she doesn't even recognize him. Every step forward costs him blood. Every person he cares about is in danger. Every moment is a battle just to keep going. His suffering isn't a single event. It's not one tragedy. It's continuous. Physical pain, emotional devastation, betrayal, isolation, loss, and yet he keeps moving forward. Guts doesn't just suffer once, he suffers every single day, and that is why he stands at number 1. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below if I missed anyone.